Discover the gripping tale of the Forgotten Heir, where hidden legacies and family secrets collide. This emotional story is filled with unexpected twists, betrayal, redemption, and the true meaning of family. The day I found Grandma's hidden box, I uncovered not just letters and a tarnished shiny locket with a picture of a little girl who looked just like me, but a family secret, so dark it threatened to unravel everything I thought I knew. Each letter told scary stories about secrets of betrayal, curses, and a lost child. Grandma's darkest secrets that never saw the light of the day. A forgotten promise of betrayal whispered through the pages, revealing that I was not merely a granddaughter, an innocent bystander in generations of cursed legacy. I was a living echo of a child stolen from her mother, and as family tensions flared and Uncle David vanished without a trace, I realized the truth could shatter our fragile world. With shadows gathering and time slipping away, I knew I had to confront the haunting past before it consumes us all. When I walked into Grandma's big house after her funeral, a chill crawled down my back. She had always been a mystery, full of stories and secrets. But that day, as my family mourned, I sensed something darker lurking just beneath the surface. The way my aunts and uncles exchanged nervous glances told me this was more than just a goodbye. Every mention of Grandma's jewelry made their eyes sparkle with greed instead of sorrow. It felt wrong. I glanced around, feeling the weight of hidden truths pressing down on me. In the shadows of the living room, I could almost hear whispers of betrayal. Later, while cleaning out the upper room, I stumbled upon a dusty box tucked behind an old trunk. My heart raced as I opened it, revealing ancient letters and faded photographs. One letter was from a woman named Clara, who spoke of her lost daughter. My grandma had taken that girl away, raising her own family while leaving someone else in the dark. Suddenly, a question gnawed at me: what other secrets lay hidden within these pages? The nighttime stillness felt eerie as I returned to my room, clutching the letters tightly. My hands trembled as I read Clara's words again. She had been desperate, searching for her child everywhere. I realized that Grandma wasn't the woman I thought she was. Could Grandma have done something terrible? I whispered to myself, feeling a shiver run through me. Each letter I unfolded revealed a new layer of mystery. Clara had written about a deal Grandma made, a promise to keep her daughter hidden to maintain wealth and power. The more I read, the more questions bubbled up inside me. Who was this lost girl? Did she still exist? As I dug deeper, I began to understand that I wasn't just learning about my family's past, I was unearthing a deep, dark secret that could change everything. I knew I couldn't face this alone, so I showed the letters to my cousins the next day. As I shared the story of Clara and her lost daughter, I noticed their faces harden in fear. Uncle David stood nearby, his brows knitted, his expression a mix of anger and dread. Uncle David's warning echoed in my ears as I showed my cousins the letters. "Put that down," he shouted, his voice sharp and unyielding. The room fell silent. All eyes fixed on Uncle David and me. I felt small as I faced him, clutching the secrets I had uncovered. "What's wrong with finding out about family?" I asked, trying to suppress my fear. "You don't understand. Some things are better left buried," he replied, his voice low and intense. His expression made it clear, our family had a history they wanted to hide at all costs. My cousins exchanged worried glances. I felt panic swell in my stomach. Was my uncle hiding more? I couldn't shake the feeling that more lay beneath the surface. That night, I lay awake, thinking about Clara and the daughter she lost. I wanted to know the truth. The next day, as the family gathered to plan the memorial service, I felt determined. I would not let fear stop me from uncovering the truth about my family. With each passing hour, the mystery deepened, and so did my resolve to find out what was really going on. After a restless night, curiosity tugged at my mind. The upper room still held many unanswered questions, and I was desperate to dive deeper. The next afternoon, While the family busied themselves discussing the funeral arrangements, I escaped to Grandma's upper room again. This time, I searched with more determination, rifling through old boxes and dusty file folders. My hands brushed over cobwebs, and the musty smell enveloped me. Finally, nestled behind a stack of old clothes, I found another box, this one smaller, more ornate. As I opened it, something glimmered inside. It was an old locket, rusty and tarnished, but still beautiful. Inside was a picture of a little girl with striking blue eyes, the same color as mine. My breath caught in my throat. Was this Clara's daughter? Alongside the locket lay more letters, but these were different. They were written in a hurried script, warning someone about the curse that plagued our family. Each line spoke of dark days ahead if the truth were revealed. I felt a rush of dread. What happened to those who sought the truth? As I read the letters, a cold shiver washed over me. The word curse echoed in my mind, heavy with implication. The letter spoke of generations marked by greed and betrayal, hinting that the one who exposed the family secrets would pay the ultimate price. Images of Uncle David screaming, "It's too late," flooded my thoughts. What if exploring this mystery would bring danger? Yet, I couldn't turn back, the truth was too compelling. I also recalled the locket. Could that little girl be the key to breaking the curse? With renewed determination, I took the locket and letters downstairs to my cousins. I knew they might be frightened, but I had to unite them. Together, we'd face whatever darkness lay ahead. As we gathered in the dim living room, I shared my discovery. Their faces paled as I recounted the curse. "We need to break it before it's too late," I urged. But instead of excitement, I noticed fear in their eyes. "What if we're cursed too?" Sarah, my oldest cousin, whispered. As we sat in Grandma's living room, an unexpected knock echoed from the front door. It startled us all, the sound sharp against the heavy atmosphere. I glanced at my cousins, who exchanged nervous glances, unsure whether to answer. Who could it be? I asked, anxiety creeping into my voice. Has someone heard us talking? Cautiously, I approached the door and opened it. My heart raced as I saw an elderly woman standing there, her face lined with wrinkles but her presence oddly warm. "I'm Clara's sister," she said, her voice trembling. "I've come to talk about the past." The revelation struck like lightning. Clara had a sister. I quickly opened the door wider, inviting her inside. The moment she entered, the air felt electric. My cousins huddled back, watching with wide eyes. "Your grandmother stole my sister's child," she declared, her voice fierce yet filled with sadness. "But there's more. I have answers that will shake your family's foundation. We must stop before it's too late." With Clara's sister, whose name was Margaret, now in our midst, I felt a mix of hope and dread. She sat on the edge of the sofa, her hands curled tightly in her lap. "Your grandmother didn't just take a child," she began, her voice steady but soft. "She made a promise, one that took more than she ever intended to give." "What do you mean?" I pressed, eager for answers. "Years ago, Grandma swore to protect her child in exchange for wealth and status," Margaret revealed. "But it came at a cost. There's darkness in our family. Several have tried to break the curse, but every time, it only brings misfortune." Margaret's words sent chills down my spine. "Have people suffered?" Sarah whispered. "Yes," Margaret answered, her eyes clouded with sorrow. "The moment someone seeks the truth, someone else pays the price. I lost my sister to this cycle, and I fear for you all." My cousins exchanged glances of concern. "What can we do?" I asked, desperate to fight back against this darkness. Margaret leaned closer. "We need to confront your grandmother's spirit and ask for forgiveness. Only then can we hope to end the curse." The weight of Margaret's words hung in the room like a heavy fog. Confronting Grandma's spirit. I echoed, unsure how to process what that meant. The thought frightened me, but part of me felt a strange pull toward it. Could this be the key to breaking the cycle of deceit and sadness? Margaret explained how other families had performed rituals to confront lost loved ones. We needed to gather our strengths and face what lay ahead bravely. You'll need a quiet place, a midnight hour, and an object that belonged to her, she said, glancing at the locket I had found. I have something, I exclaimed, holding up the locket. It felt like a connection to Clara's lost child and a truth we needed desperately to uncover. As night fell, I prepared myself mentally. The thought of facing Grandma's spirit sent shivers through me, but I knew I was not alone. My cousin stood by me. Together, we would confront this darkness. Let's meet at the old upper room at midnight, I suggested. We all agreed. As the clock ticked towards that hour, our hearts raced, blending fear with anticipation. The upper room felt like a different world at midnight. Moonlight poured through the dusty windows, casting eerie shadows on the walls. My heart pounded as my cousins and I gathered in a circle. It was silent except for our breathing and the soft creak of the old house settling. I clutched the locket, feeling its weight. With spirits high, I recounted what Margaret had told us. We need to connect with Grandma's spirit, ask for forgiveness, and understand her actions. Maybe she was trapped too. Sarah held my hand tightly as I started. Grandma, if you can hear us, we want to understand your choices. My voice trembled, but I pushed through. We want to help break the curse on our family. Please give us a sign. As soon as the words left my mouth, a gust of wind rattled through the upper room, extinguishing our candles. We all gasped, darkness pressing in around us. Then, a soft glow began to fill the room. Is anyone there? I called, wavering between fear and the thrilling sense of adventure. As the upper room light flickered, a figure materialized in a swirl of shimmering mist. It was Grandma, her face serene yet sad. My heart raced. There she was, a ghostly image of the woman I once admired and feared. Why have you come? She asked, her voice echoing softly. You should not be digging into the past. Grandma, I blurted, fear mixed with desperation. We found the letters, Clara's letters. We need to know the truth. Why did you take her child? Grandma's eyes narrowed, but her expression slowly changed. I did it to protect my family, she replied. But the promises I made came with consequences. The darkness followed me, and I feared it would hurt those I loved. Tension filled the room as we absorbed her words. But people have suffered. I shouted, feeling anger surge. You took a child's happiness for your own gain. I know, Grandma said, tears forming in her transparent eyes. And for that, I'm sorry. I can't fix it. It's your turn to break the cycle. What do we do? Sarah asked, her voice small but fierce. Find Clara. She holds the key, but beware the curse that lingers. My heart raced as Grandma's words hit me like thunder. Find Clara, she had said. But where was she? The thought made me dizzy. Would confronting her bring the darkness back? As the image of Grandma began to fade, I felt urgency pulsing in my veins. Wait. I called out, desperate for clarity. What do we need to do when we find her? But Grandma was gone, and the upper room returned to its lifeless quiet. I turned to my cousins, hoping they could help me piece this together. We can't just let this go, I insisted, determined. We have to find Clara. We need more answers. Maybe Margaret knows how to find her, Sarah proposed, excitement mingling with fear. She mentioned that her sister spent years searching. We quickly discussed our plan, settling on confronting Margaret again. We would ask her for any leads on Clara's whereabouts. That night, we gathered in the living room, too restless to sleep. As we waited for our plans to solidify, I couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. The curse was tightening around us, and the full moon awaited our next move. The next day, we found ourselves at a dusty old cemetery, unsure where to look for Clara or even if she was buried nearby. Margaret told us she believed Clara might have returned to the area after losing her daughter, but time had swallowed her traces. As we searched, the late afternoon light flickered through the trees, casting long shadows. Maybe she's buried near the old oak, I suggested, recalling a story about that tree being a resting place for forgotten souls. We walked deeper into the cemetery, feeling eerie and out of place. Finally, we reached the oak tree. Sure enough, there was a weathered tombstone with Clara's name inscribed. My heart raced, a mixture of sadness and relief washing over me. Kneeling by the grave, I whispered, "Clara, we are here for you. Please forgive us for what our family did." Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through the trees, rustling the leaves as if whispering back at us. The ground beneath felt alive, as if Clara's spirit was listening. "Do you think we should dig?" Jake asked, his forehead wrinkled in concern. The thought of digging frightened me, but I couldn't ignore the pull of Clara's presence. I felt it in my bones, a silent urging to uncover more truth. "Do you think she left something behind?" I whispered nervously, glancing around to check if anyone was watching. "Maybe," Jake replied, uncertainty evident in his eyes. "But it's not like a tombstone has treasure." "Or answers," Sarah added, her voice trembling. "But we can't ignore that wind." It felt like she wanted us to find her. My heart raced as I looked back at Clara's grave. "Okay, let's do it," I said, my voice stronger than I felt. This might break the curse. We all hesitated before nodding in agreement. We grabbed sticks and started to dig. Each scrape of earth made me feel both excited and scared. What if we found something? What if it unleashed unimaginable darkness? After a few minutes, we struck something hard. My hands trembling, I cleared the dirt away to reveal a small chest, worn with age and covered in vines. With nervous hands, I lifted the chest from the ground. My heart thumped loudly in my chest as we gathered around. The chest was locked, the clasp rusted shut. I glanced at my cousins, anticipation mixed with dread. "Do you think it's filled with treasures?" Sarah asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Or more secrets?" I replied, feeling a knot in my stomach. We had uncovered buried truths already. Did we really want to dig deeper? As we worked to pry it open, I felt the weight of our family's past pressing down on us. Each moment stretched as we forced the lock, our breaths caught in unease. Suddenly, with one final tug, the chest clicked open. Inside were yellowed papers, more letters, a small diary, and jewelry. My eyes widened at the bangles and rings. Was it Clara's? Or had it belonged to the daughter Grandma had taken? "We need to read the diary," I whispered, eager for answers. We gathered around and began flipping through the pages, desperate to uncover what secrets lay within. As I opened the diary, the pages crinkled under my fingertips, revealing Clara's neat handwriting. Each line spoke of her pain and longing for her daughter. "I must find her," she had written, "before it's too late." My breath caught as I read her thoughts. She talked about the darkness that followed Grandma. "I fear it will take my life if I can't get her back," Clara wrote. My heart ached as I realized how deeply she cared. More pages revealed Clara's desperate attempts to uncover the truth. She had searched tirelessly, visiting psychics and searching old records, each taking her deeper into the family's past. The last entry chilled me: "If my sister's spirit cannot save me, I must find another way. The curse has been awakened, and it seeks blood." I gasped, my cousins crowded around, reading over my shoulder. "What does that mean?" Jake asked, panic creeping into his voice. "It sounds like she knew something terrible was about to happen," I said softly. "We are not just trying to find her. We are trying to set things right." The realization hit us like a tidal wave. We weren't just following leads, we were walking into a deadly game. Clara's last words about the curse awakened something inside me. In that moment, I could almost feel the dark energy swirling around us. We need to be careful, Sarah murmured, edging closer. What if it's already coming for us? Suddenly, the sky darkened as ominous clouds rolled in, casting shadows over the cemetery. A low rumble of thunder vibrated through the air. We should go, Jake urged, panic rising in his voice. But I felt a strange pull. Wait. We can't leave yet, I insisted. We are so close. I quickly flipped through more pages of the diary, each line intensifying the chill running down my spine. Clara mentioned a hidden safe in Grandma's house, a place where they kept family secrets. That's it. We have to go back. I declared, fear and determination mixing within me. We must find the safe to understand how the curse can be broken. The storm broke loose overhead, echoing my sense of urgency. It felt like time was running out. We raced back to Grandma's house, the wind whipping around us. Every gust felt like a warning, urging us to turn back. But I couldn't. I needed to find the safe and unlock the final secrets. Together, we stormed through the front door, the echoes of our footsteps filling the empty house. I led my cousins toward Grandma's old study, feeling a powerful pull in my gut. It had to be there. Look for a hidden panel or something, I instructed my cousin as we searched the room in frenzied anticipation. Finally, near the back wall, I spotted a loose wooden board. My heart raced. When I pried it open, there was a small safe hidden behind it. I knelt down, my hands shaking. I can't believe we found it. With my cousins gathered close, I began working on the lock. It was old and rusty, and after moments of struggling, I finally heard a satisfying click. The door creaked open, revealing a treasure trove of family secrets, documents and photos, but what caught my eye the most was a small velvet pouch. "What's in there?" Jake asked, his eyes glimmering with excitement. I hesitated for a moment, my fingers trembling as I unfastened the pouch. Inside were more pieces of jewelry and a small, crumpled note. Slowly, I unfolded it, revealing Clara's hurried handwriting once more. "Find the circle of trust. They haunt the shadows," it read. "Only together can we break the curse and mend what was lost." The revelation sent chills through me. The circle of trust. I echoed, feeling the weight of Clara's words. What could that mean? My cousins exchanged nervous glances as I turned the note over. Scribbled on the back were names, members of our family across generations, even some I didn't know. This isn't just about breaking a curse, it's about healing our family wounds, I realized. I recalled our previous conversations about betrayal and loss. These names, they're all connected. As I held the note up, the room seemed to darken again. A cold, sinister energy wrapped around us, reinforcing that our journey was far from over. But I felt a surge of courage. We had the chance to mend our family, to unite against the darkness. "What do we do next?" Sarah asked, lost in the possibility. "Together, we will break the circle," I declared, feeling empowered by Clara's warning. "We need to gather what we've learned and confront the darkness looming over us, once and for all." Fear and uncertainty gripped my cousins, but I couldn't turn back now. We must visit each person on this list and explain our family's history. Maybe they can help break the curse with us. As day turned into night, we split up to find each family member. We shared the truth about Grandma's mistakes, bringing understanding to decades of pain. This brought healing, tears of sympathy, and a newfound strength to confront the lingering curse. Each family member had their pieces of the puzzle and their own stories of loss related to Grandma's actions. With each conversation, the darkness around us felt like it was loosening its grip. The curse was weak where unity flourished. Finally, as we gathered back at Grandma's house, it was time to come together as one family. We formed a circle in the living room, holding hands. I felt the stirring energy in the room, a sincere connection filling the gaps left by fear and betrayal. I call upon Clara's spirit, I said, my heart resolute. We gather here to end the curse that hangs over us. The air grew still, and one by one, the candles flickered to life on the table, illuminating our faces. Together, as one family, we break the darkness. I cried, feeling newfound strength flow through me. As long as we remember our mistakes, we create a future free from fear, I insisted. My cousins echoed my words, stronger together. With each chant, I felt the ominous energy receding. Just then, a faint glow filled the room. Clara's figure appeared, more vibrant than before. She smiled, gratitude shining through her sorrow. You've done it, you've come together, she whispered. Forgiveness and unity, the only way to break the curse. With that, she faded into a brilliant light that enveloped us. As the light passed, the memories of betrayal and darkness lifted from our souls, leaving only love in their place. We were free. No longer bound by the shadows of the past, I realized our family could rebuild. And from that day forward, our legacy would be one of love, not fear. The forgotten heirs were no longer lost, we were found, united in embracing our truth. The end. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Hit the notification bell to stay updated. Your support means everything to us.